I'm really happy to talk to Shaina Shah today. Shaina, tell us a bit more about yourself and what you do.
Hi, Stephanie. It's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you as well. I am an artist from India. My journey started with a very different background. I studied chartered accountancy. I am a statutory auditor. And I gave up a career in finance because India, my country, needed a lot more manpower to help it develop into a beautiful nation that it is turning out to be. I joined the development sector with a non-government organization, an organization that works in rural India for women entrepreneurship.
Shaina, and tell us a little bit more about that work and how it impacted that region of India and how you then turned into an artist who makes beautiful portraits of women.
Yes. So I worked as a trainer. I've gone to parts of India that still do not have electricity, that do not have bathrooms. Women would be sitting in veils, they'd have their faces covered. And I had the opportunity to train them to become entrepreneurs. That is what our mothership, our institution teaches. And this is something very close to my heart because this is an organization my mom started 35 years ago. And I was so passionate to carry forward this legacy, carry forward this work. So I started from scratch. I got an opportunity to directly interact, train, build the capacity of more than 10,000 women in the last 10 years. I worked with United Nations, worked with the International Finance Corporation, we worked with Amazon India. You name it, those organizations have been a part of this journey of implementing and helping women become financially independent. Along this also took me to so many countries of the world. And I realized that whether I was working with a woman in a very remote part of rural India, or whether I was working with a woman in Denmark or Australia or South Africa, the questions that women faced were pretty much the same. The intensity of them were different. The kind of problems because of infrastructure or the kind of laws of a particular country were different, but we all are so similar at heart. And that is what led me to want to write stories about them. Growing up, I grew up in a very gender neutral family. And this led me to always approach the world with a very neutral eyesight. And I realized that that's not how the world views you. And in this attempt, what happened is I went on to generate and create 6 different businesses, one of them being this, where I work in the NGO. I started 6 different businesses, and slowly all my contemporaries who studied with me, who started businesses with me, all the women slowly stepped back. And I was one of the few women in India, in the area that I live in Ahmedabad, who continued to become a woman entrepreneur and kept on zooming ahead with a family life and in business. And I kept on wondering that why is it? Why are still women stepping back? And that's when I decided to merge my passion for art and my experience of working with women. I wanted to tell stories that whenever there is a challenge, a woman can overcome it, and that is not limited to just this country or that country or a developed country or an underdeveloped country or a developing country. I wanted these stories to be from every corner of the world. And what better dedication or honor can I give somebody than to make a portrait of them? Because that, I think, is a gift that I have received from God, that I can create hyper-realistic portraits and even match the eyelashes. That is my dedication, that is my honor, that is my gift to that woman for having overcome those challenges and setting an example for all of us. And that is how I started the WOW project in the pandemic year of 2020. So far, we've published 20 countries. I have 70 more countries ready. We publish a new country or new story every 2 weeks. And I hope to continue this until I cover all 196 countries of the world.
Shaina, it's so impressive. I mean, the work you do with the charity is impressive. 10,000 women is a lot of women. The business, the entrepreneur that you are, this artistic endeavor, it's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Shaina, I'm wondering, what is your main motivator? What motivates you to forge ahead with this incredible energy every day to be an example to other women, to give them this gift of this portrait? It's really inspiring.
When I wanted mentors, when I wanted examples of women, and when I looked around, I saw very few. And it was not just here, everywhere. To see women having broken pathways or their roadblocks, it's still less. It's lesser than men. And I have two little girls growing up in my house. And I wanted to compile something in a world where they know that every country has women heroes to look up to. And when I want to turn around and look at that, how did that person handle childcare? I wanted to have an example. I wanted somebody to emulate. How did this person handle HR crisis? How did this person handle aging parents? How did this person yet have so many health issues, but launch a space shuttle to Mars? How did this person want to do 6 businesses, and how is she having it all? I wanted answers to that. And that is why I started finding these women. And that is what I'm trying to compile, that if somebody needs inspiration, all they need to do is read our stories.
So beautiful and so aligned with what we're doing with She Can, Shaina. So I'm so happy I found you.
Exactly. I thought there was so much synergy between what we were trying to do.
Absolutely. Shaina, what would you say is the top quality you have that makes you good at what you do? Your kind of superpower. What is that?
Persistence. I don't give up.
I can see that. Shaina, what top tips would you give to other women? Maybe women that struggle right now, that are trying to set up a business. What would your tips be for that woman?
The most important thing is to know and care for and give to yourself first. You can never give from an empty cup. And as women, in the whole gender paradigm, we have been taught to give to everybody and give very little to ourselves. And I believe that once we learn to provide and fulfill ourselves, a woman is an endless waterfall of so many things that you can provide to others. And if you find that sweet spot, that balance between giving and receiving, the world is your playground.
I mean, inshallah, hallelujah, yes, and this is really absolutely what it is. Shaina, what are your goals, your plans, your dreams for your future?
By 2025, I would like to wrap up the WOW project with 196 stories, 196 portraits, and 196 published, and go on to publish a book with all of this. I would like to have this book sent to every woman that I've selected. And my God, those stories, they make me cry. Otherwise, I see myself forwarding and taking forward this legacy and the number of businesses that I've started. I work in the areas of art, films, the nonprofit, the charity organization. I am also into education, and I also run a film school. I hope that I am able to create something that can outlive me. And that is where I see taking all these institutions forward.
Shaina, thank you so much for this great conversation and all the wisdom and inspiration coming from you, sharing it for other women. Thank you.
It's been an honor.